what to do exactly, which company to apply, when to apply, how to apply. Getting on interviews like really like put me down.
I will openly tell you, I gave a lot of interviews. I failed a lot of interviews.
Thank you, Niharika, and thank you, Abhish, for doing this. Really means a lot to me and our UD Squad community. I know both of you have been on our channel. So, people, if you haven't watched their videos, I'll link in the description. You should go check it out. Niharika is also a singer, so you should definitely check out some of her singing videos and stuff like that. But both of them just graduated. So theme of this video is like, how is it life after graduation, the journey, the lessons learned and things like that. I'll let them introduce it. So Niharika, ladies first, let's do your quick intro. What do you do? Where are you right now? And fun stuff about you. And then we'll go to Abhish.
Yes, thank you, Yudi. It's an absolute honor to be on your channel. So, hi everyone. My name is Niharika. I am basically from Pune, and I came to US in 2019. I just graduated with Masters in Engineering Management from the University of Texas at Arlington, and I am going to, just have a conversation today about how my journey was till now. There are a lot of advices and tips that I and Avish can help you go, in this entire podcast. So we promise we'll make it fun.
Thank you, Yudi, for providing this opportunity to share our stories with our squad, and they can learn a lot of things from our stories. So I am Shatabish. I am from Hyderabad. I did my undergrad in electrical and came directly to pursue my master's in computer science. I recently graduated in May, and I have 3 offers in hand. So it has been a roller coaster, but it's just I can share my story, how it has been the past 2 years, and everyone can learn from it. So yeah, I'm good to go from there.
Yeah, thank you both of you. And this is the first time we are doing where we have 3 people on the podcast sharing journey, and it's gonna be more conversational. Of course, please reach out to them. I'll leave their LinkedIn link in the description. So don't spam them. I know people will spam you, so I'm sorry already. But be kind to them. They both have interesting stories. I know both of them personally. Niharika, obviously, before she came, I've been in touch with her, and then we found out that we have a mutual common friend. So that made it even fun to know her more. And then Shatabish and I did video on CSU East Bay campus tour. We also actually filmed a day in a life video, which I lost all the footage. So I'm so bummed at it because we did that. But thank you, both of you. This is, I'm so excited because I've been in touch with you, and now I feel like you are like my students, and you came when I started my YouTube journey, and now you graduated and have multiple job offers. So I'm excited for both of you. So Niharika, how was your 2 years in UTA? Tell us all the gossips.
So 2 years at UTA were amazing. First of all, it was a very different experience. Starting from the culture shock to getting to learn the new curriculum, new professors, new students, new friends. The entire journey was amazing. Only when COVID hit, all the fun part that I was imagining, it just went down the hill, and everything was online. But nonetheless, I would say it was a fantastic experience.
Yeah. What were some of the culture shock?
Culture shock, actually, I had some embarrassing ones too.
Go for it.
So beginning with, I had trouble with understanding people's accents.
Oh yeah.
Even if we speak well English, it's still difficult. Sometimes people speak so differently here. I couldn't understand the accent, and I would repeatedly go, what, sorry, and then I just give up. I would just not speak. There were a lot of things like that. And then even when I've noticed that people are really punctual here. They have a different concept of punctuality than what we have in India.
Right.
So that was again very different from me, and I just didn't understand. But he said 4 o'clock. I'm here at 4 o'clock now. They were you're late. Oh my god, what happened?
Yeah. They say Yeah, even in my college and in my university, and my coworkers say that if you're on time, that means you're late. You have
You're
to be
late.
5 minutes early. So that's kind of the American standard. I 100% agree. Abish, I'm gonna call you Abish. I know your name is Shatabish. I'm just so used to Abish. So how has your journey been in East Bay? And tell us fun stuff about your journey.
It has been a pretty good 2 years, I would say. Like there were a lot of culture shocks. We spoke about it in my previous videos, but like um, it was like kind of a situation where you come from a different country, and you have like a lot of this freedom. You don't know what to do. Like you see anything that is attractive. You see everything is possible. Everything that you could do. I would say like these 2 years I've learned a lot of lessons about life rather than all the 18 years that I spent in India.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Yeah, yeah. What are some of the some of the expectations which you guys had? Like, okay, this is before coming to United States. Like, this is what my life is gonna be. This is what my expectation is. And what was the reality? Was there any situation where you expected like?
Yeah, so like when I was like moving here, all of my cousins and friends were like, "So now you're always gonna be posting pictures and visiting places and get me this, get me that." And I was just so excited that yeah, obviously I'm gonna like enjoy and move to new see new places and go to this place and that place. But then like it's not all that. I just went on like 2 vacations in my 2 years. So
Right.
and I keep rotating the same pictures so that
Yeah, yeah,
but then yeah it's you do enjoy, you do get to like you get exposure to different cities and you get to visit famous places and have fun and enjoy with your friends, but it doesn't come without having to slog every day and like do your own dishes, do your own laundry. Like there are a lot of things that are not fun
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I was coming, the expectation was like, hey, now I'm gonna be alone. I think I'll have a lot of time. Like I won't know what to do with my time. But like that was not the reality. Once I was here, like time was just it was just passing away. Like I don't know what's happening. If I just go and cook, there 2 hours and done. It's already evening. What should I do now? I have so much work to do. So like managing time was a task, and then also like um, even like a lot of people. Even I was thinking that you can visit so many places. Things are like easy over here and stuff. But like I also just went to like only one vacation till now. Since I was here, I'm here 2 years. And like there is a lot of difference between reality checks. You think you can go out at any time, have fun, and like especially the area I'm in, I thought like at least I would see some tall buildings and stuff. But like this is like just like a place, a village in India. This
Yeah,
place,
yeah.
wherever I'm staying, it's like a
Same.
complete.
How about roommates? Like, was there drama with? Obviously, you won't say that there was drama with your roommates, but have you heard roommate troubles or like struggles with roommates? Because I feel roommates can either make your experience better or make it worse. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I 100% agree that the 2 years or 4 years whatever you spend at a university away from your home, your roommates will either make it the best 4 years or the worst 4 years. So
Yeah.
like, but in my case, I had like my roommates back. They were my friends back in India, so
Hmm.
my situation was different. But then I have seen people who basically they expect others to behave, but then they themselves forget that you are
Yeah.
sharing an apartment with someone, so you have to behave too. So it's a two-way thing, but then people miss out on that, and sometimes it just gets like really weird and ugly. But then most of the people are like really nice. You have to like give someone time and then take your own time too to
Hmm.
adjust to a new country and understand everyone around you. But then I had a like it's an exception for me, thankfully. But then if you are coming here or if you are here and you have some such problems, just have to be a little more empathetic and you know care for your roommates too.
Yeah. I bet Niharika's roommates are listening. That's why she's so nice.
Yeah, like I agree that the roommates can make your experience either best or like worst. I definitely agree. I was I was a boy who like never stayed any away from my home. All my 21 years,
Mm.
I stayed with my parents. Like I didn't even had a night out somewhere. So like coming over here, like 2 years, I'm like, okay, I should stay with someone else that I don't know. But like I was staying with seniors, and like initially, like I got scared, like homesick,
Oh
like
yeah.
seeing things, how things are done over here and everything. Like I was not feeling it. But like then there was one of my roommates, who sat with me and said like, things, these are how things will be like here. Yeah, there will be like so many like altercations or like dramas in there. Sometimes like you cook food and one person eats a lot of food and there is no food, you will find out that someone won't do the dishes. Yeah, those are common stuff. You know how it is.
It is common because now that you have gone through it, even I used to think that, oh, this is common because I've gone through it. But I keep hearing the same thing when people come here and they are facing these roommate struggles, like problems like somebody had milk or bread and somebody ate it without asking that the other person, or like, oh, I have these 3 eggs, nobody touches that, or other problem with vegetarians. I'm a vegetarian, so no offense to vegetarians, but do not touch my pan, do not cook egg in it, do not cook chicken in it. So there were problems like that, and the biggest one is where people don't do the chores, like, or they don't, like, they, I think when they come, all of that in the first week, everybody's like, okay, Niharika is gonna be cooking, Abish is gonna be doing the dishes, I'm gonna be cleaning the house and chopping the vegetables first week, and then after that nobody does anything. Only one
True,
person is doing.
100%.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the tips from your entire masters now that you're done. What are some of the things which you would recommend students who are coming either to UTA or to East Bay? What are some of your advices that this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do?
Make sure that before, for like in terms of like education, like make sure you check with your seniors, like, okay, what is the load that you could take in your first semester? Because
Mhm.
like coming from India, like the load that we take is different and the courses that we take over here is different. So I would like definitely suggest one thing is that make sure you check with your seniors, because like I know few of the students who didn't do that and like took a more load than they can and like couldn't handle it in better. So like to make your experience the best from the starting, seniors are the best way to get things around, like because like they've been through that year, they know like what exactly you should be doing in your first year.
Mm.
They like few of them will be also open to share their mistakes that they did and like be able to give others the opportunity to not do that mistakes. If I'm being honest, like there is like not much of competitive nature in CSE. Like
Mm.
people are not that competitive. There are people who are like really competitive, but like you don't find that many people where you find in SJSU that everyone is competitive.
Oh,
Like if
yeah.
one gets an internship, like everyone is on fire now. Like he got it, I can do. There is like not that much of competitiveness over here.
First of all, I totally agree with Abish. Whatever he said is like totally relatable. And then I'd like to add that when you're coming to US for your studies, bachelor's or master's or whatever, I feel like we should not lose focus of what we are here for. So
Mm.
the learning experience is different here. It's very different compared to what we have in India. I've seen like my professors here at UTA was so much more better. Like so you should take advantage of all these good things that you've privileged you've paid for actually. I've seen some of my own friends just running behind getting part-time jobs that make no sense.
Mm.
Getting motel jobs or working at cafes. You probably might need to do it for some hours of your week, but that is not your whole life. So you have to involve yourselves in other cultural groups and other activities, in
Mm.
different competitions, interact with your professors. There is so much that can go on your resume that you miss out on just because you want to earn something for your part-time job and pay your rent. It's beyond that. So like I see so many people wasting their 2 years doing nothing and then not even grasping all that learning that they're getting. Masters, especially because I've done masters, so I'm speaking for that. Masters is not just like spoon feeding here. They'll teach you something
Yeah.
and then you have to grow it. Like you have
Yeah.
to yeah, you have to implement it and then take it a step ahead. That is how it is, and that is how it should be. So most people don't do it. They don't take it a step ahead, they actually bring it down. Like whatever you're
Right.
learning, the projects won't be up to the mark, or you won't give your exams the way you're supposed to, and they cheat and all that. So I think like there's no value for all these things. Even if you feel that it's okay, I passed, I'll get a job, but integrity is also a thing. Like don't lose it. Like enjoy your experience and enjoy the learning. That's one advice that I feel.
Yeah, no, 100% I agree. I know, Abhish, I and you were talking about your job search because you've been texting me, keeping in touch. And what was your journey and job search look like?
We get a lot of tips from your channel. Like for someone who is like new, definitely like going through those videos will get you started somewhere that you will understand like at least the concepts. But like it's not like you can just take them and apply everywhere. It's like tailored. It should be tailored for each person. It is different for each person. Definitely that I would say. And like I get that message a lot too. Like would you get a job? Like the most annoying question that I definitely get is like, hey, will I get a job if I come to CSUSB, or will I get a job if I come to San Jose or Santa Clara? And be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter like which university you come, you can still get a job.
Right.
But like it's not that, like just like you told in the beginning, it's not that everyone will get a job. Like there is a certain amount of consistency and struggle that you need to go through. You have to go through something to get it. It's not like easy for everyone. Maybe you have few of your friends who had it all easy, like who found jobs real quick and stuff. But like it's not that in every case. Like for me, I was doing a lot of things wrong. Like I was doing a lot of things wrong. I didn't understand like, okay, why isn't working? I'm applying so many jobs. Why
How
aren't
many?
things
How
working?
many? 500?
So like more than
More
the
than
number is much higher. The number is much higher. It's
Yeah.
it's one of that number that you told. It's like, okay, I can say it is double the number that you told in a video 2 years back.
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like I started. So I was like kind of like starting to look for internships and stuff, but like I think I was not doing it in the right way. Like one thing I had to understand is that, hey, I don't have any competences in computer science yet. I'm coming
Mm.
from an electrical background, so I need to like understand, like I need to build up something to show that I'm at least competent enough. So
Mm.
like I needed to spend time in knowing stuff, like how to build stuff over here, like what are these technologies that the companies will use, and what are the things that I have to learn. So there are things that you need to know to show that you're competent, and there are things that you need to know that are needed for an interview,
Mm.
for at
Mm.
least for computer science. So
Mm.
like there are two things for that. So like I had to go through all of that, and like I would say like definitely I was not able to like find a great internship because of that. I
Mm.
found a decent one, but like it was like COVID started, and like I was not able to do it. And then I was like, I thought this is the time that I concentrate on my full time. Um, so that's when like I started doing it, but like I was not seeing any result. Like I started like in like early May, like applying just to see like if I get at least interviews, I will know, I can learn from my mistakes. See, okay, I'm lacking in this part, I can like improve here. These are the things that they might ask. So I was going through it, but like I was not even getting any calls. I was not even getting any calls or stuff. And then it all came to speaking to someone that had gone through that process. For me
Mm.
personally, for me, it has been that. So like in my so I used to work on campus. So like one of my colleague, he made me meet someone who like works in a good tech company, and like his name is Gaurang. So like I spoke to him, like she was able to get some time for me with them, and then I sat with them and then like told them, hey, this is how I am, like this is my background. I would like any points that you have that that could really help me. For me, that is all it took. I
Yeah.
just needed to have a conversation with someone who has been through that process. And like even the guy was so helpful for me. Like he said, okay, so he explained me the process for you to all those information was also there in your videos. He just broke it down
Yeah.
to my specific things, my
Mm.
specific, like for computer science, and at this stage this is what exactly you have to do.
Mm.
So like that was more specific to me. He said, okay, So first, like the first step is like you need to build your skills, and like it's there is no right time to apply. There is like I was waiting on a time to apply. When would be the right time to apply? When I will be ready to apply? He said like there is no right time to apply. It's like you start applying, and like when you go through and fail, that's when you learn. That's when you know, okay, this is something that you don't know. So work on it. So he said at the part throughout this process, the people who are consistent and like the people who can learn from their mistakes can have it quickly, can get this done quickly and easily. They won't see it as a struggle. So like he told me that, hey, um, quality of an application is important, but quantity also is important. Here in Bay Area, there are for like one position, there will be hundreds and 200s of people
Yeah.
applying. So it's like you don't know, like it's like just hitting the dots. You will get it or you will get it. There are things that you can control, and there are things that you can't control. You can't really control that whether you will get a call or not, or whether you'll be able to pass the interview, or like whether you will get good interviews. The only thing that you can control is your efforts. The more efforts that you can put in, that's how results are created. So like he told me like, hey, start applying like 30 jobs a day, and let's see how we will go
30
from there.
jobs a day. Oh, wow. Okay.
30 jobs a day. Let's see how it goes from there. We can then tweak. The thing is like it is a learning process. Like it's not a fixed process. You have to like try out things. If that is not working, you have to fix things. He said like find 30 jobs a day. I said fine. Computer science. If you touch software engineer on LinkedIn, you get 6,000 jobs a day. It's not a,
Right.
and like time was not an factor at that time because it was COVID. Everything was remote. You could have find time anytime if you want. Like if you managed it. So like I started applying, and then I started from August. I started getting like all the hacker rank assessments, everything. So like then I reached out. Okay, now I'm seeing some results. Okay, she said like, okay, start giving them. And then when I start giving them, I found out that okay, I'm not good at giving them. I'm not like
Good
competent
at
enough
giving?
to solve these problems yet. The hacker rank test,
Oh,
the
right.
coding test.
Yeah, so that is different. Like for the people who might be watching from India, we in United States at least it's very common to have this coding test which you get before even you get your first round of interview. So you have to clear that, and then they will review your coding test, and then they will be like, okay, this guy is worth interviewing. Or this girl is worth interviewing. So yeah, okay. So you were not good at it, so you started practicing lead code and hacker
Yes.
rank. Okay.
Yes. So I started getting them, but like I was not good at it. I was not able to solve it.
Mm.
I was not able, what is this? This is so hard. I can't even think how people will do this. But like, see, that is a learning. That is an opportunity. You can like a lot of people will give up at those moments, or like a lot of people will be motivated to do it. So
Mm.
like Gaurang just helped me define those moments. These are the moments that you have to be aware of. Okay, this is something will happen. You need to stay strong at this moment. So when that happened, he know exactly what he knows what exactly
Mm.
would happen with me with my first coding test, and like what would happen with my first interview. So like he exactly know what is going to happen, and then like he told the solutions to that. That okay, now since now I made a habit. Like now applying 30 jobs a day was a habit. It was not like something I'm doing on specific day. Since I created that habit, once you create a habit, you can add new habits. You can start something slowly. The next thing was like I started studying lead code. I started practicing. He recommended few resources to me. So everything that I did, I gave a lot of interviews. I will openly tell you, I gave a lot of interviews. I failed a lot of interviews, and like I'm not like I was not discouraged by either one of it. So like it was like I failed a lot of interviews, but like something that like Gaurang told me to do is like whatever I fail, just work on it. Just work on it for some time. You don't need to be an expert on it, but like get the gist of it, get the idea of it. And like at a time after failing so many times, like I failed enough times that I have all the data that I need. That like afterwards I just saw results. I just saw results. Okay, since I've already spent enough time failing and learning them, it was just natural for me. Next time, like they asked that question, and like overall the time, it was just being consistent. Be consistent. My daily routine only consisted of waking up, applying, studying lead code. I still had my on-campus job during COVID. that was like I was lucky. So my job was also pretty chill. I used to go apply there, come back, study, apply. That's it. That was my routine. So
And
that's
now,
like
how many job
my
offers do you
story.
have?
So I had total in 5 offers. But I rejected like
5
two because like
Wow.
I had to move to a different city and like the pay was less. But like I have like three in. So
It's so amazing. I think I can just cut this part out and just release this as is. But so cool that, I love it because you failed and you didn't know anything and you failed several times, but then you learned, and then it is possible to get to it. So that's the beauty of this, is like, I want people to, learn from your journeys. Like, even though you might not be expert at the very beginning, you can become an expert and you can have multiple job offers. Yes, there's going to be struggles, but then after struggles there is also a success if you work hard enough. So you prove that with your journey. I'm curious to know, Niharika, your story. I know with you also I've been chatting about jobs and internships and things like that. So tell us, how did you get, what was your job search journey like?
Sure. So, like, first thing I like to address is that Abhish said in the starting, right, that this job application process is tailor made. So, you have to figure out what works for you. That is so true, because what Abhish just said is like exactly opposite of what I did.
Oh,
so,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I started, like, I got an internship first, but that is when COVID hit, and same thing, my internship got cancelled. And then what I did was, I have this free time. I had 3 months in hand, and I had no courses during summer. So
And you can't
I,
go to India.
yeah, I had my tickets booked, but then I had to cancel them.
Yeah.
So I just, I took up LinkedIn courses. I, completed all the certifications that I wanted since a long time. I worked on my own personal projects that I could publish on my own website. So
Hmm.
didn't waste the time, kept myself occupied, and, you know, uh, tried to build my resume, build my experience more. And then I did not apply for 1,000 jobs. Like, that was just not my plan. So
Yeah.
what I did was, I did the same thing actually, Abhishek. I reached out to my seniors, and I spoke to one senior, and I got, advices from him. And then I updated my resume, and then I started applying, and then I was seeing no results. So I reached out to another senior, and then
Mhm.
I got different advices, and then I
Yeah.
applied that. And then this way I was speaking to almost 10 different people,
Right.
taking in 10 different advices, and seeing none of them work, and
Mm.
overwhelming myself, with all these what to do exactly, how, which company to apply, when to apply, how to apply. And so, like, I hardly applied like three job applications in a day. And then, but what I did was, I kept a track of which job have I applied to, have I got a referral for that job. If I've not heard back from them in a week, I try to follow up. So quality over quantity was what I did. And then the job which I had, the offer which I have right now in hand, I haven't even applied to it. They reached out to
Mm.
me. Like,
Oh,
I,
nice.
yeah, they reached out to me, and then that was my first interview. So I didn't even give any interviews. I graduated, and within 12 days, I had their offer
Mm.
for a job that I did not apply to, and that was my first interview. So it works out in the end if you have, if you have utilized your days throughout the 2 years. It's not that you can
Mm.
just say that, okay, it's May now, from July I have to get a job, so May and June I'll properly focus only on applications and get a job. It doesn't work
No,
like that. All
no.
that you did in 2 and 4 years is gonna, you know help
Right. You
in those
have
two
to, like
months
I say in my videos, you have to start the day you land here. In fact, some people start even before they land. So yeah, that's 100% I agree. And such a contrast between both of your application. $1 million question people will ask you, should they go to UTA? Niharika, let's start with you. Would you recommend UTA to people?
I always find this question very difficult to answer, because it depends,
So okay, how
it,
about if why should they go to UTA and why they shouldn't go to UTA?
okay, yeah. So why to choose UTA would be because there are many industries here. So if you are from construction or mechanical or industrial engineering, you'll have,
Hmm.
geographically it's a good location for such jobs. And then climate, these are the plus points that I looked for. Okay, so climate, I cannot handle colds, snow
But you're
places.
going to Alaska now.
No, Arkansas.
Arkansas. Oh, sorry, not Alaska. Right. Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
the climate was one factor because I cannot fall sick and be miserable in some cold,
Hmm.
chilly place. So that was one factor for me. And then UT has a big campus. It has some brilliant professors who go like above and beyond for their students. So professors, I really like I'm talking about like engineering management. I've heard from most of my friends from other branches too that they have some really good professors. So teaching is really good here. Um, and then why not to choose is because specifically talking about engineering management, if you compare with other universities, they give a lot of scope for selecting electives. So you
Hmm.
have 5 courses and 5 electives. 5 electives is a lot. You can just go ahead and choose subject of your choice and get to have fun and learn. But in UTA, we have 9 core courses and only one elective.
Nine
And
core courses.
yeah,
Wow. That's a
yeah,
lot. Okay.
and the
In
one elective.
NEU, actually, I've heard that in NEU, you have only 2 core courses and then you can pick 8 like random elective. You can pick data science, you can go into supply chain. So that 9 core courses, that's a lot.
Yes, it's very restrictive because when you just have one elective, and the one elective that you have also, and they give you options for the elective, so you cannot just go wild. So that
Right.
is one negative point that I feel for EM. And then if you're looking at affordability, it's a good option
Yeah.
because the rent is low, tuition fees is not low, but because the cost of living is low, you can basically manage
Mm.
compared to bigger cities.
What about you, Avish? I think this is $1 million question. People think that it's East Bay, it's in Bay Area. It has to be the best college because you are in Bay Area, you are in Silicon Valley, you will get job easily. Is that true?
I I agree on few points and I don't agree on few points, but like I can make it a little easier for someone who wants to take a decision. Like first thing I would definitely like consider is like their budget. So I get a lot of questions, people asking, "Hey, should I go to Santa Clara University or should I go to Cal State East Bay?" But both of their fees are there is a huge difference. In Santa Clara University, you'd be spending up like $60,000 for your course, and like
Mm.
apart from living. In East Bay, at the max, you would go for like $25,000 or $30,000 at the max. That's a huge
Yeah.
difference when you're getting money from India. So like definitely your budget. If people ask me that, hey, would going into a better ranked university increase my chances to get my job? I would like generally say them no. That is not the case. Like you can go to any big company and there would be a person just like me from CalState and there'll be a person from Berkeley working in the same time getting the same pay. So like your pay, your position like doesn't really a university won't affect you. But it's like why choose CSE East Bay and why not is like if you have an option between HJSU and CSE East Bay, I would definitely say go to HJSU because the competitive nature is there. There is like more people who are there, like who will guide you into the right ways, and like it has been a proven result. Like a lot
Mm.
of people in HJSU get jobs, but like in CSE Bay, there is a notion that a lot of people don't get jobs. It's because like there is no proper guidance over here.
Mm.
That's the main thing. Like no one like tells you, hey, you have to start looking for your jobs from here right now. You have to start working like this. You have to do, there is like no set way like people recommend you over here, and like there is no competitive nature over here.
Mm.
Like people are more chill and like in their own zone over here. But this comes down to a personal preference. Like for me, like it, though I am in PhDs, I was still able to figure out my things. I failed, but like it's okay. Like I'm happy with those. I was still able to figure out my things. I was able to do exactly what I want. I am where I want to be.
What about your classmates or batchmates? Do they all have a job or are they still looking?
Not everyone has a job. Like there's a lot of people are still finding. They're in a stage of finding a lot.
Mm. what is one last thing you want to tell to the audience who's watching? Either they are thinking about doing masters or they are doing the masters.
I would say that so if you're planning to come here, or if you got your visa, or if you're definitely coming here, or if you are here, so whatever it is, I would say that you have to be clear on your why and not lose focus of it.
Mm,
Uh, there might be times and days where you just want to leave everything and go home, or think that I had such a good life in India. Why am I going through all these struggle now? But if you are, if you really know your why, then everything will work out. And as Yuri keeps saying, it is just 100% true that the day you land here is when you start hustling.
yeah.
That's it. There is no skipping, there is no waiting for vacation or waiting for breaks and, just chilling with your friends over every weekend. That's just not how it works. You have to be determined and, be consistent in everything that you do, as well as have fun. Like you have invested so much in this learning process. If you don't enjoy it, there's no point. So have fun, enjoy, but always know your why. That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree on Niharika's point. The why is very important. And this is something like I told Gaurang told me, the why is important. Why you're doing things is important. Know it perfectly. Why is very important. I would definitely agree on that. That's a great point, Niharika. And for me, I would say, like, if you're feeling that you are in a gray area, just get a mentor. Just get a mentor. Like, for me to be here, all I needed was that 30 minutes crucial conversation with Gaurang at that moment.
Mm,
And you know, you never know how a conversation can change you.
mm,
So I would say, like, definitely get a mentor. It's important, and I think there are a lot of content on Udemy channel or to our mentorship, like how important it is to have a mentor.
yeah.
I absolutely hands down agree on that. Definitely, and like Niharika said, just concentrate on your why. And last thing I would want to say is like Judy always says, hard work beats talent. So
Yeah.
just keep
For
hard
sure.
working, and you'll be able to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing is hard work beats talent when talent is not working hard. Because I don't want to,
Working hard, yeah.
take away the credit of talented people. It's only when talented people
Definitely.
start not working hard. But that's awesome, both of you. Thank you so much. I'll leave your LinkedIn description. People might reach out to you, might not. Obviously, as you guys have found your mentors, I think people will want to talk to you and ask for help. So hopefully you can spend some time and help them, because people ask me and I don't have enough time. So now I'm giving you some of that responsibility.
Sure, always open to helping new people. And there have been many people, Yudi, from your channel who have already reached out. And
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't realize when I tell them go watch Yudi's channel, and they say, I'm coming from there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That happens to me too. I'll be like, go watch this video in Yudi's channel. I'm like, I watched that video and then I'm like, came to you.
That's awesome. So hopefully now that they've seen more updated version of both of you, so they might, as like, okay, now they might want to ask you more detailed, tailored questions to themselves. Until our next one.
Keep smiling.
Keep hustling.